So like last year or something, went out really far into Gatineau, and it was a really hot day, and I got like this really cheap, really high-end memory that I never really cranked up properly to see if it ran properly. But I got kind of a poor performance out of this computer I had with my parents. And the weird thing is, I sold what could have been like a better computer if I just used it at my parents' house. But I should have kept it. Sometimes I sell things I should keep. But I thought if I had another motherboard that had better timing control, more options in the BIOS, I might be able to crank up the memory more, because I think it's running kind of like in the standard DIMM or whatever it is. It's not the enhanced whatever the enhanced speed thing is, but it's just the normal speed data. So anyway. Someone was giving away these free motherboards, and these are the two free motherboards I got that were compatible with the CPU I have at my parents. And it turned out this one here, he said, you know, they're not supposed to work. He didn't think that they even worked. And this one here, it doesn't start up. This one doesn't start up at all. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not really too concerned, because this one is actually more expensive, a better board, and I haven't found anything really wrong with it definitively yet. A little bit of a suspicious thing about increasing the memory frequency. But what happened is he had one of these I/O plates for this one here, right? This board, but that one didn't have an I/O plate. So I'm gonna have to figure out, either make my own or take one of the ones, it's probably this one, and just cut out a bigger hole so that it's kind of works. But I mean, it's somewhere between just having the hole that you have if you don't have a I/O plate, and trying to make kind of a better hole. And yeah, so first of all, I had this other computer that has this power supply that I got out of that other computer that was cheap, and after it's like $10 after doing all the transactions. And I'm gonna start out by saying, if that's okay, and we'll start up this motherboard, because I did have it not start up one of the motherboards. And if it doesn't start up this motherboard, I think I'm just taking it out of there, because I'm committed to putting this thing in here, because this is a big case. And I'll move that back to where my parents live. We're gonna do a little experiment to see if this power supply that failed to boot up the motherboard I wanted it for will boot this one up. So it seems the power's on. I just have to go over here to this spot. So, okay, fan spinning. Come on. Yep. Yeah, so I think the problem was that this particular power supply here was with the earlier ATX generation, which had more wattage on these two. And the trouble with that is, if a motherboard has a really low initial current draw, it can, I suppose there might be some issue with it providing stable low current power. I guess that's the best thing, or maybe there's just too much ripple in it or something. But again, I don't see a problem here. I could run mem tests. I'm gonna have to use change a SATA drive anyway, so I might as well try it. So I missed the momentous startup. What I have is an old video card I didn't know was working. That's a big one. This was power supplies before in the first place, but it's kind of a lousy video card. But here it is working. And I changed the boot order to the CD-ROM. Here is the SATA CD-ROM. I have to change it because there's two hard disks and there's two ID ports, so I need to use a SATA drive instead of an ID. So I'll have to switch out that drive there. Okay, so with the new power supply, the memory test so far is I just started. It seems to be working fine. Just let that run for just a bit, and I'll start putting it in. The only thing that's really going to stop me here is the ATX plate. I have to figure out a strategy around the ATX plate. Okay, so this would be what it looks like without an insert, and I'm trying to figure out the strategy for doing this. But I think what would happen in the case of this board is there's certain things here, at least one thing that's going to hold it in. Like if you have a piece of plastic and it butts down here and it hits this spot here, it's gonna hold in. So it could maybe just have a piece of plastic about that big there. So it kind of looks like it's designed to do that sort of thing, have like a piece of plastic put in. So I think I could just put a piece of plastic in and cut it out really carefully. I was down in the garbage room and I found this this monitor here, and inside this monitor might be some pieces of plastic in the backlight whatnot. I've got a whole bunch of monitors myself, but I don't think I'm going to try to make this monitor work. I might look it up to see what the specs are, but this one isn't turning on. So The specs were not amazing for this. This panel was like 1280 by 1024, but I've got plenty of those things already, so I'm not getting too interested. Just prying it apart. And there's something weird over here. I don't think that's supposed to be a burn mark, but I don't know what that is exactly. That part. I fixed a lot of these bulgy caps in the past. Okay, so I got this thing apart, and there's a few things you could use. This here is like too thick. You know, that's a nice piece of something, but that's too thick for a backplane. These are mostly too thin. This one's black. I'm not sure exactly what happened if you start drilling into an LCD plane, like you're going to use it for something else. I mean, I guess you could use it with a Dremel if you really tried really hard. That could potentially work right there. But so I think the best candidate is maybe that one. It seems to be keep a form. Let's see, these are kind of too thin. I don't know what that is. This could be used here. A big chunk of that could be, I guess, used. You know, it's not impossible, just that you have to cut this. I don't have a tool that's really great for cutting that out. I got a Dremel that could probably go through that. And an area, I'd say maybe, let's see, somewhere around in here. There's enough metal material there to do it. Looking for something that's just completely metal. Maybe. And I don't think I want it too flimsy. It's gotta be pretty solid. I don't know. I guess maybe this didn't work out as well as I was thinking. I might still just drill, you know, cut out a big chunk of those. So here you can easily see through. This is like one of the main ideas of doing this. And I think I have to increase the size of some of these things. I started off kind of big, smaller, and made them bigger. But you can clearly see right through there. And I'm gonna just cut those regions out. So it turned out I used this thing as sort of a cutting straight edge. Because I got something downstairs, but I didn't bother going to get it. So it has to go behind that stuff, but I kind of like the way that took like, you know, half an hour. I guess the worst part is right here. So it'd be like the worst, that's the worst cut I made there, but you know, so I had to ditch a hard drive because I decided that I need this SATA drive in case one of mine fails here, but that was a good idea, but I need it. So what happened was the edges here were a little bit flimsy. They're a little bit caving in, so I taped them on the edge there. These ones are okay here. But basically it's just designed to keep dust out of the computer, try to minimize dust going into the computer. But you know, like honestly, I could have made that a real plate out of that if I had like a real plate. But I mean, it's not bad, but it's pretty minimal, right? So you know, I don't know what to say, but I think I'm just gonna leave it because it's just going to my parents. I guess that's it. Actually, this is not a proper heatsink. It's from another thing I strapped down. But that's because I was going to use the one from the other computer. Hopefully I have. So when I put in the better CPU and the better memory, hopefully this all works properly. But yeah, I just have to tie down these cables. But that seems to be working pretty well. I found the drive, the floppy, the CD-ROM.